I hope and, I pray that this is going to be a worldwide solution that becomes the new norm. Because if we ever want to hit a $250,000 Bitcoin, how do we get there? Institutional money and new money coming in. So that's why PreSend matters.
Today I interview co-founder of PreSend, Drew Wolfer, and we discuss how PreSend is one of the #1 tools you can use to never lose your crypto again. I ask Drew to show me a demo of how this exactly works. We talk about how it's non-custodial. Also, the company is SEC regulated. We go into the roadmap. By the way, thank you PreSend for sponsoring today's video. But before all that, Drew, what's your background?
Yeah, so I'm basically an entrepreneur by choice. I went to college. I did the typical American thing that they always tell you to do. Hey, get good grades, go to college, get a scholarship, play a sport, go get a corporate job, blah, blah, blah. Did that for about a year after I got out of college. And then I had an end game in mind. I said, I'm going to because I come from nothing. And so I was like, I'm going to save up some money so I can start up my own business. So that's what I did. Went to corporate America, started up my own business, did a little bit of import export, did some wholesale, ran a distribution company. And then everybody in this space, it seems like, has done a little bit of e-commerce, either here or there. So I did a little bit of e-commerce. And then I started up Wolfer Finance, which was a master and validator noding company where we host with our own capital masters and validator nodes for Flux, Ethereum, AVAX, FTM. We have a little bit of other investments. We did a private equity investment in the company that we're actually talking about today, which is PreSend. And that's how PreSend kind of came about through the success of Wolfer Finance. My co-founder Larry came to me and was like, hey, can you help me with this? And I said, as long as we can file a patent on it, absolutely. And, we filed a full patent on it, and it's off to the races, man. So now I'm just, I'm a family man. I've got a wife. I've got a kid. I'm a regular guy. I don't put myself above anybody else. And I just try to work harder than everybody so that I can be the most prepared person in the room and eventually win at the game of life, right?
And for those people that haven't heard about PreSend, I just want to clue everybody in. What's PreSend?
Yeah. So PreSend is a wallet transaction security software. It's not a wallet in and of itself. It's actually a software that can be compatible with your wallet. And we'll run through a tutorial on this and everything. So everybody will have the full picture by the end of this, luckily. But basically what we do is we stop the cross-chain transactions, that cryptocurrency interoperability and like intercompatibility black hole, or what a lot of people call the ether. We stop that from happening. So if you send USDC from a Polygon wallet on Polygon chain to an Ethereum wallet on Ethereum chain, you potentially just lost all of your money because those blockchains aren't necessarily compatible with each other. Even though they have the same tokens on different blockchains, they have different social security numbers. So similar to you and your brother, right? You guys look exactly the same, but you have different social security numbers. So that's Ethereum and that's Polygon, right? So if you send your USDC from an Ethereum address to a Polygon address, it's not going to be compatible.
I want the audience down below. Which one's Ethereum? Which one's Polygon? Myself or Aaron? But like, I've made this mistake, especially in the early days. I've made the mistake of, I accidentally sent maybe something from my MetaMask wallet to an exchange, and then I lost it. Luckily, it wasn't a huge amount. It was the mistakes you make along the way. But this essentially would be like training wheels for the crypto user. Is that a fair way to explain it?
Very fair. That is a fair assessment. And actually, I have an even more potentially woeful story that could have happened. It did not happen, luckily. Thank everyone that it didn't happen, right? But I was going to buy a Gala node, and it was about $70,000 at the time. And I was like, okay, I brought all my money into Coinbase, and I was this is this is like year and a half, 2 years ago, right? And I was like, okay, what's the fastest way I can get it out of here? And I was like, I don't want to send Bitcoin, I don't want to send Ethereum. And I was like, okay, I'll send Polygon, right? On Polygon Matic. So I offboard a little bit of Polygon because I had to send it to an exchange that actually supported buying of Gala tokens, which was KuCoin. And I sent it, but it never showed up. And I was like, what's going on? And then I realized this is before they started kind of recognizing those things. But then I realized, wow, I sent it to a Polygon wallet, but I was sending on Ethereum chain because that's back when Coinbase only had a compatibility with Matic on Ethereum's chain. So I almost lost. If I wouldn't have done a test transaction, which is really inefficient in my opinion, we shouldn't even have to do test transactions. Nobody does that with bank wires, right? If I wouldn't have sent a test transaction, I would have lost $70,000 and I wouldn't have a Gala node.
Dude, show me how this works because it's one thing to kind of give the description. I want to see it in action.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm going to share my screen. We'll get some people pumped up. So there's two ways that this is going to work. I'm only going to show one of them. I'll show them both, but I'm only going to show one of them because I don't want to tease everybody. Everybody will get mad at me if I do it via the extension. So there is an extension that will be coming out. Okay. And I have to obviously approve the extension. I'm going to cancel it. But there's an extension and then there's a web app because not everybody is going to be compatible with an extension, right? The extension's compatible with MetaMask, and it'll be on Brave browser, Opera, Chrome, believe Microsoft Edge, and Mozilla Firefox. So those are the 5 extensions that we're submitting to those stores. Until then, everybody please use the web app. It is app.presend.io. It's very simple. All you have to do is go down here, acknowledge the terms of service. Obviously, read the terms of service. No one reads their Apple terms of service or anything. Nobody reads it, but you can click here and read it. I've already read it, and I'm going to go ahead and connect my wallet. Now, you can connect your wallet via Wallet Connect, and these are all of the options. Like there's like dozens and dozens of options. You can scroll through here. You can see we have Opera, we have, Exodus, KuCoin Wallet, we have Coinbase wallet, we have Ledger, MetaMask, Trust Wallet, all of the major wallets this thing is compatible with. So I'm going to connect my MetaMask and we're going to go ahead and click this wallet, Drew's wallet, and connect it. Boom. So we are connected to Binance Smart Chain right now. And I'm going to run you through just like a quick little tutorial of what PreSend looks like. So you can have it in light mode or you can have it in dark mode. I have light eyes, so I always use dark mode because, light eyes are very sensitive to
Me
light.
too.
Yeah, so I'm going to use dark mode. If you want to change your blockchain, it's very simple. You cannot mess this stuff up. It literally lights up green, which one you want to change it to. So we're just going to change to Ethereum, and then we'll come back to Binance Smart Chain here in just a second. This is non-custodial. I want that to be 100% clear. This is non-custodial. We do not take any custody of your funds. Your funds stay in your wallet. We are not a wallet, and we will never take custody of your funds. We have no ambition to ever do that. We want to be simpatico with the wallets and not compete with them, right? So then secondarily, if you want to choose an asset that you want to send, it will pop up with this little kind of like shadow behind it. It'll like light up and almost pop out of the screen at you. So you can just click that button. And then you can also change your asset inside of here, whichever asset that it is that you're wanting to do. And again, the green gradient pops up and it's a very tutorialized, I guess, transaction process without having to put a tutorial in there. And if you try to pre-send something and you haven't filled this out properly, it'll tell you. It'll pop up an error that says, "Hey, make sure you do this before you do anything," right? So we'll just fill it out 0.1, something like that. And then you will have to, this is the only extra step for pre-send. So a lot of people are like, hey, what's the steps look like? It's the same as you would do inside of any wallet, any MetaMask. The only difference is that if you are sending to a centralized exchange, you either click yes. And if you click no, then it'll pop up the other wallets. So if you click yes, I'm sending to a centralized exchange, you can pick whatever centralized exchange that you are sending to inside of here. And again, the green gradient will allow you to see which ones are in there and which ones you're choosing. And then if you select no, then it reverts and says, obviously you're sending to some type of wallet, right? Are you sending to Ledger? Are you sending to Opera, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, Coinbase, Crypto.com? And these are the compatibilities that we have right now. Obviously, there's going to be a million more compatibilities coming, and we're going to switch over to Binance Smart Chain and prove to you why pre-send matters. We're going to try and send some Binance really quick to Coinbase. And so Coinbase does not accept Binance Coin, and we can prove that because we'll go in here and we'll just type in BNB, and it doesn't accept it, right? And so we're just going to get a random 0x wallet address because this is the problem that we run into. All 0x wallet assets can be accepted by any 0x address. So people can fat finger things and, I can actually send some BNB to this wallet if I don't use pre-send. So if we go into pre-send and we actually go to send, we'll just try to send like 0.4 BNB to my Coinbase wallet. I'll click yes. I'll click Coinbase. I'm sending to Coinbase Exchange. Pop that address right in there. We press pre-send. Then it'll charge you a fee. Now, the pre-send fee is very minimal. It's a guaranteed $1 on the fee. Or if you go above $500 worth of cryptocurrency, it will charge you two tenths of 1%. So if you send $1,000, it'll cost you $2, right? So right now it's just checking and making sure it's running the transactions. And as you can see, it popped up and said, hey, that transaction is not safe. So had I done that in any other wallet, it would have let me do that. And we're actually going to do it just to prove it to everyone. We're going to send some BNB to that exact same wallet. Now, I'm not going to send a lot because we know we're going to lose this. So we'll send like 0.01 BNB. But if I click next inside of my MetaMask and I click confirm, it's already gone through. It's pending. It's on blockchain. You can actually view it on the Block Explorer. And then this page is actually going to lie to me here in just a second. If I refresh this, it tells me that my transaction was a success. Absolutely, it was a success. It did get sent, but it will never get credited to my Coinbase account because they don't accept this asset. And that is the inherent issue that we're seeing happen in this market is due to all of these chains not being compatible with each other. You know, I can do this with literally any one of these tokens. We could literally try to send Uniswap, Baby Doge. A lot of people are trying to send these altcoins, SAFU, whatever it may be, to these incompatible chain addresses, and then they lose all of their money. So that's why PreSend matters, because you literally saw PreSend stop it, and then you literally saw me go and show you actually losing $3 live on this, telecast, why PreSend matters.
So essentially, a person that would you would automatically, if they wanted to use this software, you would just automatically, every time you want to send a transaction, go immediately to the PreSend extension or whatever the website, and then it would make that transfer for you through whatever you click.
Yeah, absolutely. So whenever we were going through all of those steps, right? Basically what happened was we entered all of our information and then we clicked PreSend, right? The PreSend button. And so we had to choose if we were sending to a centralized exchange or what wallet we were sending it to. Now, the wallet that is connected to that is the one that owns and houses all of the assets. So it pops up the transaction. We cannot actually do the transaction for you. You will have to approve it inside of your wallet. Just like if you were on a DEX, you have to prove it inside of your wallet to make a token transfer. Same thing here. Again, we don't want to take custody of anyone's funds. We want people to be self-custodied and be safe.
The fact that it's non-custodial, I mean, to me, it makes me that more excited about it.
Yeah.
Very, very innovative. And you kind of touched on this, but for you, what's the business model? It's just that fraction of a percentage as a fee for the safety, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So the only reason that we're doing the $1 guaranteed is because we already know that people want to send test transactions. We're trying to stop that from ever having to be a thing ever again. So if somebody wants to send a $10,000 transaction, right? They might send a $1 test transaction before that, and they might use PreSend for that $1 test transaction. Now, it took us like 6, 8 months of arduous, grueling development and labor, countless hundreds of thousands of dollars. Obviously, time is money, so it took us a very long time to develop this, and it would be very unfair of us to not be compensated and our devs not be able to be paid just because people are like, oh, I'll just use PreSend for the $1 transaction, and that would make us like half of a penny. So that's why we're guaranteeing the $1. But other than that, after you get above $500, and we're also trying to save people time. And I see this as more of an enterprise grade solution. So we want to see MetaMask put this into MetaMask where you go into MetaMask and you go to send your transaction and it pops up a little thing that says, do you want to protect that transaction before you even send it? And if you click yes, then it sends you through the pre-send process, which is just one extra step. And if you click no, okay, you're on your own, right? And same thing with Coinbase, same thing with Opera, Brave, all the trust wallets and ledgers of the world. Those are the ones that we're trying to get our software into the, I guess, software of theirs, right? We have an SDK, which is called a software development kit, where we can plug our PreSend software directly into their software. And then all they will have to do is just say, hey, do you want to protect this transaction? And they can charge or they cannot charge. That if they don't want to charge, they can pay a licensing fee. And if they do want to charge, then, they can have a revenue share. So I hope and, I pray that this is going to be a worldwide solution that becomes the new norm inside of this ecosystem. Because if we ever want to hit a $250,000 Bitcoin, how do we get there? Institutional money and new money coming in. It's not going to be from the people that are already here, because if it was, then we'd already be there, right? So we need to bring in new users. How can I tell my mom, hey, invest your $500,000 401k into crypto, but she could just accidentally lose it like this? I would never tell her to do that. I would feel horrible if I was the reason why she lost some of her 401k. And how could we expect BlackRock to come in that has trillions of dollars under management, that has the ability to increase the market cap and the size and bring in new capital to the cryptocurrency markets and push us to a $250,000 Bitcoin? How could we expect them to do that and take the chance of, oops, I accidentally sent my USDC to on the wrong chain and we just lost $1 billion? So that's what we're hoping for, man. Stop all
Definitely.
that.
And from an institutional grade level, I can see something like this being very, very much welcomed, especially for those new
Definitely.
people. You guys are SEC regulated, and I'm a total
Yeah.
noob when it comes to that stuff. So I understand, if you had a token, then it would be a security token regulated. But what does SEC regulated mean for a software?
Yeah. So for us, we funded our company through, we're funding it through a crowdfunding offering, right?
Uh,
So that's essentially, in order for us to raise funds, we sell shares in the company, right? That's what a lot of companies do. But instead of us raising all of this capital through venture capital or from private equity, right? What we decided to do was pass that down to the retail investors that have not ever had the ability nor the opportunity or chance to invest in what we would consider potentially Silicon Valley like unicorn software startup, right? I've never had the ability to invest in that because I don't own a hedge fund. I don't own a private equity firm until now, until Wolfer Finance. But even Wolfer isn't going to have the ability to invest early in Snapchat or something like that. But now we're allowing retail investors to do that through a crowdfunding opportunity, which is regulated by the SEC, and it's a regulated offering brought on Akamona's platform, which Akamona is spelled Akemona. And they're basically a digital security token. And we're going to be, Wolfer's doing it too. So not only is PreSend doing it, but Wolfer's doing it as well. And the shareholders are going to be tokenized securities. So instead of having your shares in your TD Ameritrade account, you will have them in your cryptocurrency wallet on Polygon blockchain. And only people that are KYC'd and only people that have passed anti-money laundering and all of those checks can actually own these tokens. And then it gives us the legal ability to distribute out dividends to all of our shareholders. And this is an offering that we're bringing to market, I believe, within the next 3 to 4 weeks, where we're offering it for both Wolfer Finance and for PreSend at a retail level. And I was like, why go to somebody and ask them for $10 million and then they come in and they want to run the company essentially. And now everything that they say goes, when we could give the power, we could keep the power to run the company the way that we want to run it, first off. And second off, give the power to the people that have not ever had the opportunity to invest in something like this. And they could invest in like as little as $500. That's pretty cool. I think it's truly revolutionary. And I don't really see, we're like one of the only two, and we're two of them, but we're one of the only companies that actually have tokenized security, which is wild, man. So I'm
that's
really
awesome.
excited about that too.
Definitely. And so that's on the roadmap. What other stuff? We
Yeah.
mentioned some of the other stuff. What else is on the roadmap that my audience can
Yeah.
look forward to?
So what else is on the roadmap is we're going to take over the game in terms of exchanges. So right now, we'll start with the chains, right? Right now we have taken over the EVM market. It's compatibility. It makes the most sense because EVM is where we see all of this happening. And if anybody that's watching does not know what EVM means, it simply means Ethereum virtual machine. So think anything that's built on Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, even crypto.com's chain, their very first chain with the Crow token. So we have 5 chains that are compatible with that: FTM, Polygon, AVAX, Binance Smart Chain, and Ethereum. So now what we want to do is go off and start with the other chains, the Cardanos, the Solanas, the Bitcoins, because you can lose Bitcoin too. Because of SegWit, there was a main chain, the legacy chain, and then there's Segwit. I actually lost Bitcoin doing that. I sent from a Segwit wallet to a main, and I sent it on the legacy chain, and I lost my Bitcoin. It was only like $20, but I did lose it, and I wasn't happy about it, right? So we want to start getting all these other non-EVM chains and have compatibility with those, and then obviously build out a more robust ecosystem for the EVM chains. But I think we have the 5 major ones as it sits right now. We also have compatibility sending into pretty much all of the, well, I'd say 5 of the top 10 centralized exchanges. So we have Coinbase, Binance.com, Binance.us. We know they just came under fire. This was developed before then. There's nothing we can do about that. And then KuCoin and Crypto.com. Now we're also bringing in Kraken. So that should actually be out by the end of this week. And then we'll start taking and putting compatibility of all the rest of those centralized exchanges in pretty much ASAP. So we want to be compatible with like the top 10 and eventually the top 20, because that's where most people are onboarding and offboarding all of their capital. Now we do have compatibility sending into and connecting to pretty much every major wallet. If you think about it, we have Brave browser, we have Opera, we have Crypto.com wallet, we have Coinbase wallet, we have MetaMask, Ledger, and Trust Wallet. We're working on Trezor right now, running into a little bit of an issue with them with their API. And we just want to keep taking over all the large wallets. You know, we'll be able to get the my Ether wallets and stuff like that of the world, and kind of just get, 10 to 20 of the top wallets. I'd like to get Zelcore as well. That would be awesome. And then that's pretty much where we're at in terms of development. And what we're also trying to do now, because we want to deliver for not only for ourselves, but for our investors and potential investors, is we want to go out and get enterprise grade partnerships, right? So we want you to be able to use PreSend, whether it says PreSend or whether it's white labeled, inside of Coinbase, and say, hey, I'm bringing my money out of Coinbase. Let me run that check just for an extra insurance, right? And make sure. And so that's where we're kind of trying to make those talks and make those connections and have some interactions with those larger institutions. And we have a pretty good connection at Brave, Ledger, Kraken. So that's where, once we have all of these, I guess, all of these extensions approved, that's where we go to these guys and say, hey, we're compatible with all of you. Our software is here. Would you like to implement via the SDK? So it's a lot of stuff, but I
That's
think we've
big.
got it. Yeah.
Yo, that's awesome. And again, for the audience, link down below in general. Check it out. Let us know down below in the comments if you like it, what you think about it. Just final thoughts, Drew, for the Altcoin Daily audience.
Man, I'm just honestly humble appreciation, seriously, for just anybody that's listened, obviously up until this point. We appreciate you. We love you all. If you're now part of the PreSend family, we welcome you. If you're now part of the Wolf Pack, we welcome you too. We appreciate everybody, and just seriously awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. I can't even express how much it means to me, and it's truly humbling.